Barcelona seems unstoppable. Imagine if Real Madrid do not win the league and do not win the Champions League. Nobody will want to claim this team as theirs. They'll say it's been a failure because only Kroos left and Mbappé has arrived and it's not happening, but it's not happening. And, football teams, there is no magic formula for them to click. This team has not clicked.
Here's a look at Christian Pulisic's Champions League career, 10 goals and 9 assists in 57 matches. He has the most Champions League goals by any American. He is AC Milan's top Champions League scorer since joining the club with 3. He already has 2 this season, and he is 1 goal shy of his best scoring Champions League season. Well, today, Real Madrid face AC Milan and Christian Pulisic, and right now we are delighted to welcome in our good friend Guillem Balagué, who is going to be at the Bernabeu to take this one in live. Hello, Guillem. How are you?
I'm all right, Susanna. I've just arrived to another hotel room, as you can see behind me, but in a very sunny Madrid, actually. So weather is perfect for this outstanding match.
It is. We're glad to hear that. And I'm very curious to get your thoughts on Christian Pulisic and how perhaps he has maybe changed the stigma of Americans performing in European competitions. What has he done in that regard?
First of all, I don't think anybody remembers he's American. He is somebody that fits a role very, very well. And in the case of Paulo Fonseca, who's struggling to find the players that want the ball and want to do what he wants them to do, he's actually the best exponent of that. He works really hard without the ball. With the ball already, he's been involved in 10 games with 7 goals and 3 assists. And he plays in different positions. Against Monza, he was key in the only goal of the game. He put the cross in for Morata. Reinders eventually scored that goal. And even though he didn't shine, he played as a number 10. Sometimes, as we saw in those clips, attacks, as we know, from the right-hand side. But I think what Paulo Fonseca wants to have is players that understand what the game requires. He sometimes have to play between the lines, sometimes running behind the defense, other times play wide. And Pulisic has got that, the ability to understand, and Fonseca love it.
Real Madrid, obviously, in this campaign in Champions League, they've had a lot of drama off the pitch. How much of that has affected this team?
Well, again, it's difficult to analyze now looking back after what happened a week ago. But it was, if you go back to the Ballon d'Or situation and to the defeat at the Clásico, it was very interesting that there was so much noise being made of the fact that Real Madrid decided at the last minute not to go to the Ballon d'Or just because they knew that Vinicius was not going to win it. There was a lot being made of that, and not so much about being defeated by Barcelona 4-0. At the Santiago Bernabeu. So you are talking about a team that is still not hitting all cylinders, and you can go from, obviously, Courtois is injured. Luning is having 20% less saves than last season. The defense doesn't seem very well oiled, worked on, and everybody makes mistakes. Tchouaméni, not the holding midfielder that everybody wanted. The midfield doesn't control the games and doesn't dominate the games and doesn't put the right tempo, the right pace as they used to either. And then on top of it, Mbappé, who had 8 offsides against Barcelona of the 12 that Real Madrid were provoked on, just doesn't seem either the kind of guy that will make a difference for Real Madrid right now. So Ancelotti hasn't got everything worked on, and certainly a game against AC Milan can, transform things. You know what it is like in Real Madrid after winning. But you have to say, with the likes of Bellingham having not scored yet, and really a stat that is alarming, Real Madrid is the 3rd team that runs the least in the Champions League. The least. And without that, Ancelotti has been saying, we're not going to be able to do what we're supposed to do. We're not going to be able to pressure high. We're not going to be able to stop teams. So he says it's a mental thing, it's an attitude thing, it's not a tactical thing. So the team has to run more, has to stop, obviously after winning you have the belly very full, but to actually be thinner now and sharper and work harder. And these 9 days, of course, the game was suspended at the weekend. 9 games of training has been focused on that. Can you give me, Ancelotti as his players, more running, more aggressivity, more even aggressivity with the ball? When you have the ball, can you run in behind? A lot of things that they haven't been doing.
All right, so Guillem, you're referencing the problems and issues that they're having on the pitch, and you said this is a Real Madrid side that's not firing on all cylinders. It's not really clicking. I'm curious to know, is it clicking inside the locker room? What are the vibes like? Are guys getting along? What can you tell us about that aspect of it?
Start with the new player, Mbappé. Obviously, it will be easy to assume that there's a lack of synergy with the players and him that is coming. And of course, he's a big ego. He was very influential with all the decisions that were taking place at PSG. And yet that's not happening at Real Madrid. But no, it's quite the opposite. He's coming humble. He realizes that Ancelotti is limiting his area of influence to be just a number 9. Doesn't touch the ball a lot, and when he does, he's got to make big things because he's Mbappé, and he's not fully working. He's not just a number 9. Has never been in his career, but that's what he's got to do at Real Madrid because Vinicius plays on the left-hand side, and his reaction has been, "I'll be patient. There will be a time where perhaps he's thinking, I'll take all the penalties. Perhaps I'll be the biggest star, but this is not the moment. I've got to keep working." And certainly the coaching staff is very, very happy with him. Vinicius is trying to moderate a little bit his reactions on the pitch, but he's the most influential player of Real Madrid, and he's happy to be so. And his reaction to not winning the Ballon d'Or was, okay, I'll work 10 times harder. And I guess that's what's exactly going to happen. It's just that the balance, tactical balance in the midfield is not working. They decided to go. This was a Real Madrid team that won because of the quality of Benzema, Kroos, and Modric. And now they said, yeah, okay, fine. But let's go now for energy, high tempo, physicality, youth, like Valverde and Bellingham and Tchouaméni and Camavinga. But it's not working because none of them is an organizer. So Modric has to come on with a stick. Okay, I'll help. And then basically he does help normally. So probably you'll see a few minutes of him against AC Milan as well.
Guillem, there's this obsessiveness to say whose team this is. Because at first, for so many years, it was Ronaldo's team. Then it was Benzema's team, Vini's team. Mbappe comes and people are asking, well, is it going to be Kylian Mbappe's team? When Vini is putting on displays like he did in the game against Borussia Dortmund. So are we going to get that answer? Whose team is this by the end of the season? Or is it going to have to be something shared?
Let's see, because Barcelona seems unstoppable. Imagine if Real Madrid do not win the league and do not win the Champions League, nobody will want to claim this team as theirs. They'll say it's been a failure because only Kroos left and Mbappé has arrived and it's not happening, but it's not happening. And, you know, football teams, there is no magic formula for them to click. This team has not clicked. But it's Real Madrid, so you have to say at some point he may do what you least expected, perhaps tonight. And then let's see who races to the occasion. But at the moment, it's Vini's team. And obviously, Ancelotti always will adjust it. And he's the one that has been in the transformation that you mentioned from Cristiano to Benzema to now Vini. But if you had to choose one player, this is Vini's side.
If Vini still doesn't enter these contract negotiations or him not entering those negotiations yet, is that cause for concern for Real Madrid fans?
It's a cause for interesting articles for newspapers. Because obviously what happens is we know Saudi Arabia would like to, the Saudi League would like to get him. And the figures that have been mentioned are extraordinary. 250 million being paid for Real Madrid, him being paid like 200 million a year, crazy stuff. And what has been interesting is that Vinicius, since that offer appeared about 6 months ago, he hasn't been, vocal to say, now my future is at Real Madrid, which is what he said when he first came as an 18-year-old to Real Madrid. And when they told him, you want to rent a house or you want to buy a house? I'll buy a house because I'm staying at Real Madrid forever. So that was the confidence he had then. Now he's very cleverly just playing it quiet, but you will expect him to stay at Real Madrid with a new contract soon.
Hard to imagine him leaving Real Madrid.
Or
very
going to
hard,
Saudi.
very hard. Guillem, thank you so much, as always, for taking the time. Enjoy that sunshine and the match today.